Hello, you're very welcome back. Now, our next guest was just 2 years of age when he suffered a stroke, and now at 23 years of age, he tells us how it has impacted his life ever since.
We're joined by David O'Donnell to share his story alongside paediatric neurologist in Children's Health Ireland, Dr. Susan Byrne. Thank you both so much for being with us. We really do appreciate it. David, I'm going to get to you in 1 second, but I suppose the word stroke, Susan, and you were talking, David was 2. I would never think that a child could have a stroke.
No, and that's really common. Most people, when you say a child has had a stroke, or when you say to them you work in the area of paediatric stroke, they say, what? Children can have strokes? People just don't think about it. And obviously David's going to share his story. It does happen to children. We think about 30 to 40 children in Ireland probably each year have a stroke.
Right.
So it's a really important thing to talk about, and it's amazing that David is here to share his story.
Yeah, it is. David, tell us, 2 years of age, you probably don't even remember what happened, even in what your parents have told you, what happened?
Yeah, so my parents had a baby monitor beside the cot so they could listen to me overnight in the next room, and they heard me stirring, or just during the night, just odd. So that they went in and checked on me. I was fine. Next morning, my mom went to work, and my dad got me up ready for school, play school that was at that stage, and he found that I couldn't get up, or I was just smiling at him. I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk. Every time I went up to get up, I would fall. So took me to the GP straight away, and the GP said, "Oh, something's wrong. I don't know, but something's wrong. Get him into the UHL." So I went in there and did tests, and they were just as dumbfounded as us. Well, yeah. It was crazy,
So how did they get to the diagnosis of stroke? You must have had to go to Dublin, did you?
Yeah, I had to go to Dublin. They did some preliminary tests in Limerick, but in Crumlin they diagnosed me with a stroke. It was crazy.
How long was it from when you clearly had a stroke to when you were diagnosed with having had one? Do you know?
I think it was the same day, but it was like 12 or 13 hours later.
Wow.
It was that night. Yeah.
What would have happened in those 12 or 13 hours, Susan?
So that's a common thing to happen. I mean, David's parents and the GP did absolutely the right thing. So we have this thing called FAST, which people might have heard of, the face, arm, speech, time. So if someone notices that there's a change in the face, if there's weakness on one side, or they're having difficulty with their speech, then it's the time to call 999, go to the GP, go to the hospital, because we always say time is brain, and really that was really important that was all done very, very quickly. And we're really keen that anyone who has any symptoms, child, young person or adult, that they come to the hospital as soon as possible so that they can get the treatment.
What is a stroke?
So that's a great question. So a stroke, there are 2 different types of stroke when we talk about stroke. The more common type of stroke that we think about is when one of the little vessels in the brain gets blocked. But the other type of stroke that we see is when a vessel bleeds or there's a bleed into the brain. They're really the 2 types of stroke. So because of that blockage or the bleed, it stops blood getting to the area that needs to be supplied.
And the bleed is what happened to you, David?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Absolutely. It was in my left hemisphere. It was just the size of a pea, but I lost the ability to speak and walk as well. Obviously, I regained those skills, but it took a long time.
That's what it was like. I know you can't remember this, but for your parents, this just must have been so terrifying. Again, a 2-year-old baby who had a stroke. It just doesn't seem right. So what was your road to recovery? Thank God you got to the hospital and all that kind of stuff. What was your road to recovery and what had happened to you?
Yeah, so it affected my right side. My hand still doesn't do a whole lot, but my walk is getting there. It's fine, but I suffer a lot with spasticity, which is involuntary muscle spasms. I can't help it, but it's a small price to pay, obviously. But yeah, it took about 10 years of physiotherapy to get where I am now, and speech and language therapy as well for 2 or 3 years. I didn't speak for a year after it, but when I did, my parents had a party and everything. So the doctors all said I wouldn't speak again. So it was great to
defied the odds.
Yeah, beat the odds. Yeah.
In terms of its impact on you now, and in years after that, going through school.
Yeah, going through school. I was always conscious I was different in primary school. Primary school kids just want to fit in, all that. So I was always conscious I was different because I was wearing splints and second skins, But then in secondary school in Villiers, in Limerick, I found I flourished a bit. I was breaking into my own a bit, coming into my own. I did rugby in school. I shouldn't have been doing rugby, but I did.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I loved it. I would have kept it up, but I tore ligaments in my ankle. Anyway, yeah.
You're dealing with everything, aren't you? It's all coming on, right?
Anyway, but yeah, it was great. And then in UL, that was where it all kicked off for me, because UL is such a great place, you know. And I'm doing psychological science now as my master's, and my research is actually in stroke. It's in the psychological impact of stroke. So it's great. It came full circle, really.
And
you know?
what is, as you're looking into this, because you're looking at, like, you've got such a different point of view on this area. What is the psychological impact? Because we know that this can happen at any age.
Yeah, for me, I can only speak for myself, but for me, it was very difficult growing up. But I don't like to focus on that. I put things into perspective.
Okay.
And I say, okay, I could be, you know, it beats the hell out of the alternative, as my dad says. So I could be, but you know, like, it's all fine and well to just be sad about it, you know, but it's happened. You know, I've focused on, you know, the good things, you know, so it's good to focus on the good things.
Yeah, you're here.
Yeah,
you're talking.
Yeah.
What I might say is that I meet lots of children who are 2, 3, you know, up to 15, 16, and they present, and we don't know what the future will hold for them. And it's such an inspiration to see David not only absolutely flourishing, doing brilliantly, but doing research in the field, because more research is needed in young people who've had strokes. Lots more research is needed, lots of funding is needed. And really what David is doing is pushing the field ahead for young people who are coming behind you. So it's an amazing story.
Thank
and you're
you.
an amazing advocate for young people who've had stroke.
Thank you.
And what you're doing as well, you're working with the Irish Heart Foundation to just spread more awareness about it as well. Why is that so important to you?
Yeah, I've always wanted to work or be involved in some capacity with the Irish Heart Foundation. And when I got the opportunity, I snapped it up. You know, I took it because, it's always been important to me, you know. And I think because of my experience, like Maureen was saying, I can have like a different perspective on things. I can have more empathy with people. Everyone goes through bad times and everyone has their issues, but however imperfectly, I can acknowledge that and, you know, I can give back. Like, that's all I want to do. I want to help people.
You're wonderful, genuinely. That's such a wonderful thing to want to do for this.
Yeah.
For Susan, for you, this is about, I don't want to be fear-mongering and giving another thing that parents have to worry about, but I suppose some people will be finding out for the first time that this can happen to children.
People,
and it happens to everyone. Outcomes of stroke in Ireland, like, how are we with that?
So in terms of adults, we have lots of information about that because there's a national programme for stroke for people over the age of 18. Under the age of 18, because there's relatively small numbers, so we don't want families or parents to be afraid, it's relatively rare in children. It's about 30 to 40 cases a year. But we don't have any long-term follow-up at the moment, and I think that's why it's really important that there's research, that there are registries, that there are national audits looking at the long-term outcomes. I was saying it's brilliant that David is telling his story, but we don't know about those kind of 30 or 40 other young people who had strokes in the same year that David had a stroke. We don't know what they needed. We don't know what their experiences were like in school, and that's a really important thing to focus on, to look at. But in general, young people tend to do better than maybe kind of older adults who might have a stroke because the brain is so plastic. And the other thing that happens is there are a number of different treatments that can happen. So there were some great acute treatments that can happen if the children come to hospital very quickly. But also the other important thing to say is the multidisciplinary team. So the crack squad of speech and language therapists, occupational therapists, physios. I mean, you can attest to that. Are integral to the rehabilitation process.
Yeah, totally.
It's amazing.
Totally.
David, how are you? How's the body now? I know you're doing your postgrad at the minute, PhD at the minute. Is it a PhD, master's? Sorry.
Yeah.
What's life look for you in the future?
It's great. Thank God, I have great prospects. I'm actually working in Villiers at the moment, doing like academic help with the students. But I want to do educational psychology as my PhD. So hopefully there's a course in Mary I, but hopefully that'll happen in a few years if we get experience first. But,
good old Mary I man, good old Mary I man. Can I say very brave? 5 years out of the school, going back to teaching the school. That is something else. David O'Donnell, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time to come in and talk to us about this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's lovely to have you. And Dr. Susan Byrne, thank you so much for coming in, paediatric neurologist in CHI Ireland. Thank you so much. Thanks a million.